My grandmother was Meta Eisenman, and so her daughter is Denise Staniland, who's here with me today. My mom. I'm Shawn Ruby. We're from Alvin, Texas, and the story with Meta and the Eisenmans are in Bad Orb, and there's Simon and Amelia, and Amelia is also a Cohen, but they had 7 children, and 5 of the children and Simon and Amelia went to stay here at the 10 Strasse. 2 of the daughters, though, 8-year-old Mita and 13-year-old Ida, actually did not come to Frankfurt, but rather they went to New York. And that is how we began. Right after the war, my grandmother married a U.S. Marine war hero, and she became Baptist. Actually hid the story from my mom for the longest time. We just knew that my grandmother was from Germany, and we had a picture of the old house, and we had a picture of her passport photo. And from that, when I was 17, on a school trip, with the help of a friend's grandmother, we were actually able to find the house. And I had met with the City Hall and the Burgermeister, and they actually showed me the documentation that my family was Jewish. We did not know that, and a week later when I went home, I shared that with my mom, and she didn't believe me at first, and then she asked her older sister, which her mom had shared with the older sister, but it was something that she always wanted to keep hidden because she always felt that that Hitler was not dead, and that it was a matter of time that he was still going to find them all. And she died when my mom was 11, so I kind of had a family mystery on my hand, and I had made connections all the way to 10 Strasse as far as 2 years ago. But on Thursday evening, Chaim Matzen notified my mom, had lots of information about the family. We've learned a lot more now, and we, on the very next day, booked a plane. On the very next day, we flew here, and we've met cousins that we have never met before. First cousins of mine, first cousins of my mom. Essentially, my great-grandfather was Caroline's uncle. Caroline's also my mom's first cousin once removed, and that was on the Eisenman side. So since he married a Khan, I'm not sure on that side either, but we're related on both sides, a long way around. Besides the amazing story that Caroline has brought and united the family, and people have mentioned several times, it adds to the own validity of our family, because I know that my grandmother made it at 8, given that wasn't, what I'm sure what they would have envisioned what life was about, but she made it safely. But all her brothers and sisters, and we eventually learned that they left here from Frankfurt and went and perished at Riga. There hasn't been any documentation. Only recently, when I was working in Washington, D.C. with the Holocaust Museum and their archives, we discovered they went to Riga. But there's never been any kind of recognition for them, and so it sheds lights not just on the Cohens, but also on the Eisenman side. And it's just, it brings closure for something that I've been researching for the majority of my life, and it brings just joy and happiness out of so many chapters of this book that has been written that was just dark.